Hey, what's going on, everyone? I've got the Autel Evo here, and I want to talk to you a little bit about it because, you know, when this thing was talked about before it was released, people were super excited, right? Then it came out, it was expensive, the firmware was glitchy, and then DJI came out with its Mavic 2 lineup, and people kind of forgot about it. Well, you know, about a year later now, this thing, the firmware glitches have been worked out, and it's less than $1,000. Is it worth looking into? Let's find out. What we have here is a 4K drone that folds a lot like the Mavic lineup, right? It looks like a Mavic. It was designed to compete with the Mavic. It has obstacle avoidance in the front and the back, and sensors on the bottom. But really the star of the show here is this 4K camera. It does something that no Mavic can do, and that is shoot 4K at 60 frames a second. That is pretty darn slick. Now this camera is really good. I'll tell you right now, I did some testing with this versus the Mavic 2 Pro, the Mavic 2 Zoom, and the Mavic Air, just to kind of see how it stacked up against DJI's current folding drone lineup. And while that video will be released later, let me just tell you, I was very pleasantly surprised with this guy. Now this drone is, I would have to say, by far the best option you can get for under $1,000. Like, yeah, I get it, it's $999, so it technically falls under the $1,000 mark, but really there isn't anything even close to the quality that's coming out of this thing for about $1,000. Autel is known for their customer service, which is fantastic. They're based in the Pacific Northwest outside of Seattle, I do believe. So that is a bonus. And a lot of people get worried about DJI and their spying methods. That's not really something you have to worry about with Autel. So another bonus for the big orange drone here. So I've been flying this thing for a couple of weeks, and I really have to say that I like it. I haven't seen the firmware glitches that people talked about at the beginning. Original Dobo, he's kind of the guy that I know has had this thing for the longest. He's really kind of put it through its paces, and he loves this thing. And you know what? I'm starting to as well. 4K footage is super crisp. The modes, the intelligent flight modes work quite well. I really like the remote control. Having that built-in screen is really nice. I forgot a cord for my smartphone to connect it, and you know what? It didn't matter because I can see the video coming from this 4K camera right on the remote. Now I can do that with the DJI drone. I just have to pay an extra $750 to get that remote. Yeah, $750. So then you take the already more expensive Zoom at basically $1,200 or the Pro at $1,500. You add another $750, and you're in the $2,000 or over price range already. So yeah, for $1,000, this is one heck of a deal. Can it shoot quality professional footage? Yeah, I believe that it can. Now it has 3 different modes: standard, precision, and ludicrous in terms of speed. And I found flying in precision made it buttery smooth, and I was able to get those shots. It even worked better using those intelligent flight modes when it was in precision mode. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. So would I recommend this Autel Evo? Yeah, absolutely. If your budget is $1,000, then this is what you want. Now, would I recommend it over the Zoom or the Pro? Well, we'll leave that for the next video when I kind of dive into video and photo comparisons between those two drones. Heck, I even threw in the Mavic Air, so if you wanted a lower price option, you can see how this stacked up against that. But that will be coming. But I can tell you right now that this is a drone worthy of your hard-earned cash. This Evo does a lot of things right. You've got an over 4-mile range. You got a 30-minute flight time. You've got intelligent flight modes, return to home, GPS stability, but really the star of the show is this 4K camera. It's really sharp, really clear. and shoots 4K at 60 frames a second, which is not something you can do with the DJI drones. I actually even like to shoot in 720 at 240 frames a second and then slow it down in post-processing for some smooth slow motion. But yeah, this thing, really nice drone. Alright, so you can see I have it here on the bench right next to the Mavic. It actually is a tiny bit skinnier, it's a tiny bit smaller. It actually stands taller because of these little legs here, which is a nice thing. Gets it up out of the grass a little bit more than the Mavic does. But again, really, they're pretty comparable in terms of size. Here we have the two remotes for you to look at. I really like the bright LCD screen that you're going to get on this. And like I said, I can actually show the video from the drone on this remote. That is not something you can do with the DJI remote. The buttons are well laid out. We've got a wheel for the menu, a wheel for the gimbal, photo and video, and there's even some buttons on the back that you can kind of customize, I believe. We look at the DJI remote, just a standard LCD screen, nothing color about it. Again, you can get basically the same functionality out of a DJI remote if you want, but you're going to have to pay another $750, right? So you can see it's connecting, but not color. But not that the color screen is necessary, but it is kind of a nice little bonus. I will show you how they unfold. First, the Autel. We're going to start. It's just straight forward and straight back, right? You don't have to unfold the props. The drone will do that for you right before it takes off. And then the Mavic here, we're going forward, and then these flip back. And you do have to do both of those drones in the correct order, otherwise you're going to have to start over. But yeah, they're pretty comparable in terms of size. The DJI drone does have more obstacle avoidance sensors and cameras on the sides. You only get the front and the rear IR. Front cameras, and then bottom we have sonar and cameras. So that's a little bit different. So if you're thinking about folding drones, these are probably the two that I would kind of think about looking at. You got the Mavic 2 Zoom, which I recommend over the Pro. We'll talk more about that when I get into all those comparisons. And then you got the Autel Evo. It's your best drone checking in under $1,000.